What I regretted is that it was ugly to me, and the people found it out.
Tina Turner leans back in her chair, legs crossed, that famous smile still sharp as a knife at 83. The interviewer grins, hesitant, before blurting out the question, Tina, you've worked with legends. You've toured the world. You've seen it all. Be honest, were there ever artists who really tempted you? Tina throws her head back and lets out that raspy musical laugh, the same one that filled stadiums just as much as her voice ever did. Baby, are you really asking me that? Of course there were. I spent decades shaking my hips in sequins and stilettos, standing next to the sexiest men in music. You think I didn't have thoughts? You think I didn't feel the heat? Please. She leans in now, her eyes glinting with mischief. I was always professional, always gave the people a show. But, at 83, I'm not going to pretend I didn't fantasize. There were men whose voices slid right into my bones, men whose smiles made me want to throw every damn rule out the window. On stage, I was fire. Off stage? Honey, sometimes I was holding myself back from burning the whole house down. Don't look so shocked. I was the woman who belted out Proud Mary night after night in fringe and heels. I knew exactly how much sex and sweat were in this business, and I wasn't blind. Some of those men made it real hard to keep my hands where they belonged. So yeah, 6 of them. 6 men who made me weak, who made me want to step off the stage and straight into trouble. And if I had, well, let's just say the encore would have been a whole lot more interesting. The first name makes her grin like she's about to confess a sin. Mick Jagger. Lord, that man was pure chaos wrapped in leather pants. He learned more than a few hip shakes from watching me, but watching him? Whew! That boy moved like every bone in his body was up to no good. We had chemistry you can't fake. People still talk about that Live Aid performance in '85, and baby, they should. We were bumping and grinding like the world was about to end. And the truth? That wasn't rehearsed. That was just us. 2 people who could barely keep our hands off each other once the music hit. She pauses, her smile sly. Mick wasn't flowers and promises. He was fire. He was a storm. Even innocent touches from him carried sparks. And let me tell you, if I'd ever followed him into that dressing room, I would not have come out the same woman. Then her eyes soften, and a new name rolls off her tongue, David Bowie. Lord, that man wasn't just a singer. He was a planet all his own. Beautiful, strange, magnetic. Bowie didn't have to try to impress anyone. He could just stand in a corner, silent, and every woman in the room was restless, waiting for him to notice her. And when he did, it was like being set on fire from the inside out. His voice was velvet and smoke, like someone touching you without even laying a hand. David blurred every line, boy, man, angel, devil. The answer was yes, all of it. And honey, more than once I wondered what it would feel like to let him take me to that other world of his. Her laugh deepens as another name comes, Prince. 5 feet of pure temptation. That man glided instead of walked, carrying himself like he owned the air in every room. Being near him was like standing too close to a live wire. You wanted to touch, but you knew you'd get burned. He played the guitar like it was a lover, sang like every word was a sin, and moved like the whole world was his private bedroom. More than once, I had to remind myself I was there to sing, not misbehave. With Prince, every look was an invitation, and Lord help me, I wanted to RSVP yes every single time. Her tone grows softer, almost purring, when she speaks of Marvin Gaye. That man didn't just sing love songs, he was the love song. The first time I heard him perform Let's Get It On live, the entire room went still. It wasn't a performance, it was a seduction. His voice was velvet wrapped around hunger, tender and raw all at once. Marvin made you surrender. And I'll be honest, if he'd ever caught me alone after a show, I doubt I'd have walked out the same woman who went in. Then comes a wild laugh at the mention of James Brown. the godfather of soul. Lord, that man erupted on stage like a volcano. Sweat, fire, splits, screams. When the mic was down, sharing a stage with him was standing next to an earthquake. It was raw, it was grit, it was passion, and it was sexy as hell. James made you wonder what it would feel like to have all that fire aimed at just one woman. And I'll tell you this, if I'd ever let James Brown take me off stage, the show would have gone on all night long. No band, no crowd, just rhythm, sweat, and noise. Finally, she whispers the last name like a secret. Al Green. Lord, have mercy. That man was silk poured into sound. Let's Stay Together wasn't just a song, it was a spell. His voice didn't ask you for anything, it just pulled you under. He had a softness that made you feel safe, but a danger too, because once you surrendered, you weren't in control anymore. He was. And I'll admit, if Al Green had ever leaned in close and hummed in my ear, honey, the night would have gone straight off the rails. Tina leans back, that wicked smile still alive. So yes, Mick, Bowie, Prince, Marvin, James, Al. 6 men who made me want to forget the rules and let the music take me someplace wild. And maybe I never crossed that line, but don't you doubt for a second that I didn't think about it. Because on stage, I gave fire to the world. But off stage, sometimes the temptation to let it burn was almost too much to resist.